Hi, my name is Ani Thomas, and I am the new youth librarian at the Kodiak Public Library. Welcome. Today we are going to do a teen book taster. And what is that, you might be wondering? A book taster is similar to what you might have at a restaurant. If you go into a restaurant and it's overwhelming, all the options, and you're not really sure what to get, you might order a sampler plate, and that'll give you a little taste of all these different nuggets, all these different things that might turn you on. It might make you really excited to order that next time. So this teen book taster is designed to do just that. It's designed to entice you to want more and explore new tastes. So for this taster, I chose a genre that I'm not that familiar with, which is graphics. And I wanted to try something new. I'd been reading a lot about some of these books, and I just wanted to see for myself. And I'll have to tell you that I was completely surprised at what I found. I was not expecting such great storytelling, and I wasn't expecting such emotional stories. So I was pleasantly surprised. I am very impressed, and I'm hooked on this new genre. I'm looking forward to reading several more books. I've already got a list going in this genre. So the three books that I chose have three things in common. First, they're all graphics. Second, they're all nonfiction. So they are factual stories about events that have taken place. One of them is a memoir, so about the author's life. And then third of all, these books have all been recognized with several awards. So recognized by both teens in teen awarded awards and librarians, book publishers, so very well regarded. Our first book today for our taster is called Drowned City, and it's about Hurricane Katrina and New Orleans. And this was one of the worst natural disasters to happen in the United States history. And it happened about 15 years ago. Maybe you've heard of Katrina. It was a Category 5 hurricane. It was Category 3 by the time it hit land, but it had devastating effects. It caused about $100 billion worth of damage, and it killed about 1,800 people. So while lots of people had time to escape before the hurricane hit, a lot of people were in poorer areas and they didn't have the means to escape. So they weathered through the storm, and it was absolutely devastating. When you read this book, you are going to see not only the damage that the hurricane caused, but you're going to be surprised by what happened afterwards. And it will boil your blood. It will make you angry and sad and dismayed. You should be when you read this book. There's a lot that went on. This is a political book. There's a lot that went on afterwards with racism and politics and the media as well. And it caused lots of extra damage that could have been prevented. So very incredibly sad. It's going to make you feel like yelling and crying, this book will. It's horrifying and heart-wrenching, but it is going to leave you with the viewpoint of the rescuers and also some of the survivors. Now, this book I read in one sitting. You can see it's not a very thick book at all. I sat down with it. There's like 96 pages, but It's primarily graphics, so the story is told with pictures and very little text. Um, the story is really conveyed in the faces of the people. You're going to feel the hostility, you're going to feel the abandonment and the hopelessness. The pets were also portrayed in this book. Highly recommended. There are many ways to learn about our history, reading articles, reading textbooks, but honestly, this was such an enjoyable way to learn, and it just went by like that. So please check out Drowned City. I think you'll enjoy it. So our next book, because I liked Don Brown so much, and I liked his graphics, I liked his storytelling, I looked to see what else we had at the library by him. And it turns out he's a pretty prolific writer. He's got over 20 books. They're all graphics and they're all nonfiction. A lot of different historic events, but also some biographies that he's written. This book choice is called The Unwanted, and it's stories of the Syrian refugees, written and illustrated by Don Brown. And this is a very moving chronicle of a real human tragedy that's happening right now. And whether you're familiar with what's happening in Syria or not, this book will enlighten you. And this is not a political book. This book is very human, and it's very much about the human experience of being faced with war and trying to escape and trying to make a life for yourself and for your kids. It's about an impossible situation and incredible hardships and obstacles that these people are going through. There's over 1 million refugees that are from Syria that have taken residence in other countries, both legally and illegally, and are looking for some way to make a life for themselves. This book will give you perspective. It's going to widen your world, and this is not a unique situation. I mean, there's civil wars all over the world today and all throughout history, and there's millions of people who have been displaced from their homes. So one thing I will say about this book is that it cultivates humanity and compassion. And don't we need more of that in our world today? Yes, we do. It's an excellent short read, again, very small, very light on text. It's mostly graphics, and it's a very emotional read. So, The Unwanted, Stories of the Syrian Refugees. And our last book that I'm reviewing is called Hey Kiddo, and this is absolutely my favorite of all 3 that I read. I loved the Don Brown books, but this book was incredible. Hey Kiddo, How I Lost My Mother, Found My Father, and Dealt with Family Addiction. It's by Jarrett J. Krasaska, and this book is a memoir, and so it's about the author's life, and it's told from his teen self, about how he grew up. He was raised by his grandparents, and it really talks about real issues in life. So it's talking about addiction and alcoholism and abandonment, and it's a pretty hard situation that he's in, and he's trying to deal with it. And he finds some coping skills, and it's really excellent. He doesn't understand why his grandparents are raising him. And one day they sit him down and they say to his teenager self, "Hey, kiddo, your mom is addicted to heroin, and she's been in and out of jail for years. And how does he deal with that? He's been craving his mother's love for years and years, and he probably always will. And he gets glimpses of love from his mama, but then mostly she's aloof and will disappear for months or years at a time. His grandparents genuinely love him, but they have their own issues as well, as we all do. It's imperfect, and his grandma, who's an alcoholic, is such a colorful character, and it really makes you laugh. All of her explicatives, she definitely uses foul language a lot, but they do love each other and they do get through. And he finds his coping skill through art. It helps him process his pain and his confusion. It wins him friends in middle school. It garners him recognition in high school, and ultimately he becomes a successful author and illustrator that he is today. And he's really produced a powerful book, because this book, I think, is going to change lives. It's here to help people, and I think it will hopefully help adults and teens. There's a lot of Jarretts in this world right now, lots of addiction, lots of broken families, lots of grandparents raising their grandkids. And whether that Jarrett is you or someone you know, this book is very powerful, and it does leave you with a light. You see through him how he copes and deals with all of these things. So I definitely recommend this book. Powerful, powerful. It's for middle school, like upper middle school and high school, because of the theme and also because of the language. But I think you'll really enjoy it and feel this book. So let's see. That is the end of our taster today, but I hope that you are inspired to try some new books now and maybe some new genres. Maybe you'll try some of these books that we read today, or that we talked about. I do want to mention that the library is closed to the public. However, we are lending out materials. So all of these books that I reviewed today, you can check them out today. We've also got lots of ebooks and audiobooks online, but just give us a call if you need help. If you're looking for what is your next read and you're not really sure what you can get into because nothing's really catching your eye, give me a call. My name's Ani, 486-8686, and I would be happy to talk to you about what kind of books you've enjoyed in the past and what your interests are, and make a good recommendation for you. There are so many great stories, and it's one way for us to connect with each other, and it's a healthy way for us to pass the time right now. So please check out some books. The last thing I want to mention is our summer reading program is going to be starting next week, and we are going to be having lots of outdoor activities and virtual activities for you to enjoy. So along with your reading logs and your activity logs, you can sign up for prizes and get free books or free ice cream. Who doesn't like free? And that's it. Thank you so much for listening to the Teen Taster, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.